Excuse me. Oh, my youngest son had a zest for life. He had so much enthusiasm. Just seeing that in him made me love life. He was the one who made all of us laugh. The things that used to come out of his mouth would have us rolling with laughter. He had so much light in him, too. I remember praying that he would never lose that. And then I started to see the light slowly disappearing from his eyes in his preteen years. It was slow, but noticeable. Then the silence started to creep in. Not all at once, but piece by piece, he was slipping away. Then suddenly there was silence for most part after my ex-husband and I told our sons we were separating. Then the light diminished a little faster after that. Before I moved out of the house, I kept going to him asking if there was anything he wanted to talk about, anything he wanted to ask about our decision to separate, etc. And the answer was always the same, not really. As the months rolled on and his high school graduation approached, I would really hear from him. I tried so hard to keep life the same. I showed up for him even when he didn't ask. I wanted him to know that my leaving doesn't change, that I will always be there for him. Always. If he didn't have to contact me, he didn't. Unless he needed something. More often, it was mostly about how much money was in his bank account. And then a week before he was leaving for college, he asked for a ride home from work. And of course, I was happy to do that. I picked him up, and as I start driving towards the house, he put on his headset, and he had no intention of talking to me. I also knew that it was my only chance to get him to open up. So I pulled the car over. I unbuckled my seatbelt and I turned towards him. I told him that I could not let him go to college without him talking to me. I also told him I deserved to know what was going on with him. He took a deep breath in, and honestly, my first thought was, oh, this is going to be bad. Then I could see his heart pounding against his shirt. And my second thought was, oh, this is going to be really bad. He named one thing, that I favored his brother over him. He stopped to look at me, almost kind of like checking me out, how did that feel, type thing. When he first said that to me, I knew it wasn't true. It didn't actually surprise me either, because I think that is a common belief amongst siblings, but I knew that mattered for him. I also knew there was more, and I asked him if there was more. He continued with 2 more things. One, I disappeared when I moved down into the basement. That one surprised me, to be honest. I was not expecting that to come out of his mouth. And he continued, I didn't have the right to just show up whenever I wanted. That one hit hard, right in the heart. It felt harsh, but I knew that was true for him, too. For the first time in a long time, my son opened up to me about what has been bothering him in our relationship. I made a point to give him space to speak, listening without interrupting. I heard everything he said, and everything he said was validated. I requested permission to speak on those, and he nodded in agreement. I responded with honesty and care. I didn't make excuses. I didn't blame. I acknowledged that I could see why he might feel I favored his brother over him. I explained that his brother interacts with me, which naturally lead to more conversation, but that it's not about favoritism. As for the disappearing act, I was completely open and honest about it. I explained my reasons for moving downstairs, sleeping issue due to his dad snoring, and then discovering his dad was dating, and initially wanted to give his dad space. I also told him I had never considered how that move looked from his perspective, and I apologized for the unintended hurt. The part when he said I didn't have a right to show up, well, honestly, I didn't know what to say, except that I was trying to build a relationship with him, and that I'd be willing to work through this with him if he's open. I also acknowledged that the rest was his work to work through, and I couldn't reach him without his openness. He didn't say anything when I was done speaking, but I think he heard me. I dropped him off at the house. A week later, he left for college. Over the last few weeks after that conversation, I sat with everything he shared with me. I didn't spend a lot of time over the favoritism part because it just wasn't true. But it made me sad that he felt that way. I cried hard over not having the right to show up. To me at the time, it was the biggest rejection. I felt I truly didn't matter to my son. And it was familiar to me. In the privacy and quiet space, I justified the fact that my son started to withdraw long before I moved downstairs. I started to blame his dad for making me so focused on protecting his space that I hadn't noticed what it was doing to our son. But deep down, it wasn't my ex at all. It was my habit, my pattern. Then the question came, did I give my son too much space? Should I have forced him to talk to me sooner? Then the blame came again. My son could have came to me at any time. Instead, he blamed me for disappearing when I was only one floor down. My son was the one who rejected me over and over again. He was the one who stopped answering me when I approached him. I couldn't help but stop in my tracks when I realized what I was doing. I used to blame as a shield to protect myself. And crying hard over the disappearing act because it was familiar. It was like getting hit with both ends of the barrel. For much of my life, I carried the feeling of being unseen and unmet by people I loved. So when my son shared his truth, my mind immediately went to that familiar place. I thought he was beginning not to see me too. I thought he was rejecting me. And there it was, staring me in the face. That was my experience with my parents. Only this time, it wasn't about me. My son felt unseen by me. This was his experience. Without meaning to, I had mirrored the very experience I had spent years healing from. That moment taught me something huge. He has been my teacher. By sharing his truth with me, he helped me see a pattern I hadn't been able to face before. And I have to share here how deeply I admire his honesty and courage. It has shown me where I needed to grow. I'm grateful for the mirror he has been in my life, even when it was hard to see. My son has helped me become more aware and reminded me that love is strongest when it also makes space for truth. Dear you, every new awareness is not a step back. You don't go back to the beginning. It's simply another piece of the same story, another layer waiting to be understood. Sometimes we've been holding the same mirror all along until someone gently turns it around. That in itself is a deeper awareness, a reflection you couldn't see before. Nothing appears randomly. Each new layer reveals itself when you're ready to understand it. So, if someone lovingly reflects something back to you, don't be too quick to turn away. It just might become another layer of healing. Sincerely, me.